Right, recording in a progress. Hello, my name is Lee Reimer. I'm a naturopath, already practicing 6 years. My health journey started with a very, very ill son family. He had really heavy mid-ear infection, and I had lots of diagnoses. Myself, my husband, my ill children, and eventually it led me to holistic health. It led me to the holistic health system, which works. And because we've been living it for 6 years, I haven't been to pharmacy. We got rid of all our diagnoses. And my calling is to start this in a school community and educate people. That's why we call it health school. It's gonna be practical lessons also you can start implementing in your life as well. And today will be some kind of introduction. Also, I call it lesson 1. Also, if you're not able to attend it, these lessons going to be just once a month, every first Friday a month. Also, if you're not able to attend them, so you also can watch in this community on a record. So it's no problem at all. So I will be sharing my screen. And here you go. Right. Okay. I hope you can see it. Okay. Right. Yes. Yes, it should be seen. So, first one today, Christopher, you can see you here. So, first one today, what we would like to do today, we will start with the very, very basics because quite a lot of people they think that health is equal pharmaceuticals or health is equal medications. I take my medications, I take care of my health, or health is equal someone caring about me, my well-being. So today I want to start with very, very basic, and I want to also let people know that basement which changes our thinking and mindset. That was me. That's why this first lesson is vital to understand who is responsible for my health, how it's what the factors influences and what health means actually in a lifetime. So I'm going back to this one. And okay, right. When we look at the health, actually, we got our health is connected between the all organs and all systems together. And quite a lot of times, people normally think that health is a certain age, and by, for example, achieving 50 or 45 plus, our health deteriorates, our health is quite poor. I can tell you it's not true because I am 50 years old this year, and my health these last 6 years has been much better than 10, 20 years ago when I was 30 and 35. And health is not only age perspective, so all old people get ill. Not true, because I have seen in my life 70 plus and they really, really fit and healthy. And also, I've seen 30 and 20 plus with really bad health conditions. Also, it's not just absent of illness. Quite often, we think in our lives that our health is okay. I have no certain diagnosis. I have no absence. I have kind of illness, but it's not really very serious diagnosed. I'm okay. My health is okay. That's not, because when we talk about health is a fundamental value of our human as a human person being. That's our state as a proper state of our physical, mental, social well-being. So we well in our mind, in our body, in what we're doing in the life. And later going today through this first lesson, health lesson, what is health? I actually show you examples. I also did the extensive research where on a whole earth there are longevities, the biggest longevity in which countries, which particular places in Earth have this huge longevity, and what are the main introducing factors to it. So, and health is a process where person itself, or we are themselves, we keep ourselves healthy. There is nothing about your GP. There's nothing about your doctor, which doctors are good. It's wonderful when they are there helping us, but it's not the primary base. Primary base as me, myself, as a responsible person taking care of body, physical body I have been given. And it's connected to my mental well-being, it connected to my habits and so on. And this is what we talk today. So you need to understand that health is not just absence of illness. It's like, oh, okay, I haven't got yet diagnosed, I have no illness. Yeah, I have a bit pain here. This was me. Oh, a bit pain in my knee. I can't walk properly, but I am generally healthy. But I was struggling with sleep. I was having fatigue every single day. I was having long work hours, no movement, no energy levels up. And I was like, yeah, but I'm generally healthy person, which is not. So also when we look about our health, we do need to understand it's like our body is like a house. And it is directly my responsibility whether what kind of house I will be living. My soul and my spirit lives in my body, and my body is like my house. And this is solely my full responsibility how I actually live in it, how I care about it. If I have broken window or broken door or roof falling off or something wrong with the ceiling or the house leaks through, that's my responsibility to actually do it, improve it, right? To make sure it's stable, it's comfortable, it's efficient, it works efficiently, it does the task it's supposed to. You're not sitting and saying, well, it's kind of my house, but my GP gonna be looking after it, right? We don't expect it. I live in my house, and my own responsibility is from the person who lives in it, not from a neighbor who actually neighbors my house, right? So today I want to outline this because in my practice, when I work with the people, quite often people tend to put responsibility on fathers, on mothers, on parents, on situation, on work conditions, on stress, on situations in the world, on something else, on genetics quite often. That is a very common thing. And that way we give responsibility for our body to someone else. By blaming someone else, I give responsibility to someone else, which means at the end of the day, I cannot do anything myself because I just blamed someone else for my health, or I put responsibility on it, and I am not responsible. Well, it's nothing to do with me. However, when we look at health, and I want to look further, let's go back. What does our health depend on? I put quite a lot of things in there, but you do need to understand one thing. Yes, there is a healthcare system and medicine, okay, or whatever additional things. Environment is really important, up to 20%. Environment where we live, because I've seen it from animals, particularly if you, my approach is very holistic, and I want you to think in a nature. When, for example, mommy and daddy has a children, I talk about birds, I talk about bugs, I talk about every nature, lions, anything. If they live in a harsh environment, they do not stay in there. They quite often migrate or move because they know that environment is not good for them. And this affects by 20% or even sometimes more. If you find your environment is not impacting your health well, for example, I used to live in a country and I loved that country, but 9 months of that country I used to have jackets, no sun, and I really was lacking sunshine and D vitamin. You know what I did next? I moved to another country to live because sunlight and D vitamin was vital for me. And that's what nature does quite often. When we talk about genetics, and quite a lot of people sign illnesses about genetics, I know what I'm talking about, because genetics was common in my family. From my father's line, we had quite a lot of cancer cases. From my mother's line, we had diabetes, blood pressure problems, heart strokes. So it's kind of genetical. And if you go to general practitioner, say that's normal, that's genetical, so you're going to experience too. And I'm sitting with that bouquet of arthritis, cancer, diabetes, blood vessel problems, blood pressure, and I'm thinking, oh my God, do I need to live with it? Is that actually mine? And that was me. I was always protesting, like, why do I need to carry that burden? Genetics is only about 15%. And even genetical issues, when we implement, what's the biggest number here? Just point out 60%, and I would say even more. That's a general data, but from my experience, what I noticed that even 60% higher is the lifestyle. So that means my lifestyle beat genetics. If I do not like environment, move. The same what nature does. If I do not like some issues going on around where I live, where my children live, move. You are free to choose. Yeah, you can say it's easy for you to say. However, it was not easy. I admit I moved 3 countries, different countries to live, and it is not easy. It's quite a lot of planning, challenges, where you're going to live, how you're going to sort out your housing issues, and so on. But it always, at the end, gives you that freedom. If I was lacking that sunshine for 10 months of my year, now I have it for 11 months of my year. I'm not lacking it. It's important. And if you see here, lifestyle always beats genetics. Lifestyle beats even environmental things. However, I used to, as a young person, love big cities, for example, Manchester, Manchester United, Manchester in UK. However, what's interesting, when I started having family and children, I moved to little villages. You know why? Pollution, stress, delivering kids to schools and playgroups. That was so stressy. And I said, okay, that's not okay. It drives me, it drives my house, drives my energy. That's why we changed. So what's the best main outline for this lesson? That we can choose our health, and we can be responsible for it, and we can influence it. And this I want you to take off today from our lesson. Let's go a bit further. The most important factors, it keeps jumping, the most important factors that make our healthy lifestyle. Right, I'll check if you can see it. Yes, you can see it. Very good. So, most important factors what can make up our healthy lifestyle, and I want you to understand this is where we come in. This is where our lifestyle beats our genetic, what our families had, some legacy I should have, daily routine, sufficient sleep, balanced work and rest times balance. This is what we are responsible. If you look particularly nowadays, people spend 90% of chasing, driving to work, come back from work, chasing the money. I was there. I was traveling to work 2 hours one way. That means 4 hours of my daily work and daily schedule was just traveling. I couldn't see my children. I couldn't see my little ones growing up. I had to ask someone else. And this was draining me. This was draining my energy. It was too much for me. You always, if you have that in your mind, understanding, and you're willing change it, you're always going to have a chance to do it. Personal hygiene, so taking care of your body, physically, emotionally, physical activities, sufficient amount of activities, even just a walk. But listen, when I was there with 4 hours traveling and 8-hour work, really stressful because we had targets. I work in corporate finance office, and I left house after 5 o'clock in the morning and arrived about 8 o'clock in the evening. So where is my physical activity? I just sit on my butt all day and I don't move because I have targets, I have computer, I have stress, driving, traffic jams. And then you're coming home, your child is again asleep. You're leaving, your child is asleep. That was highly stressful. These things we can change if we want to. A water drinking regimen, this was non-existent for me. And working with the people, I see this is the biggest kind of problem. Not starting with any detoxification program, any other stuff, just basic water. And then we go to better water, like we will going to talk in our lessons, alkaline, acid alkaline balance, what exactly helps to make alkaline water. All these things we will going to go through in our lessons. But right now, when I go through these points, you can understand that these are the things we can be responsible for, and therefore they massively impact our health and well-being. It's nothing to do with our GP. It's nothing to do with some specialist. It's me being responsible for house I'm living in. Eating habits, oh, that was non-existent for me. I just whenever was time, shovel something in, that was it. Quitting harmful habits, I didn't have much harmful habits. I just had 7 cups coffee a day because I had no energy by that time. Interpersonal relations, we later will talk about longevity in different places of planet, and I want you to hear it out. Some regions in Italy, there's a biggest longevity in the world. You know why? When I went through the research, I was shocked, because interpersonal relationship within the family members or work colleagues or your friends, where you cook together, you spend time together, you're happy together, that makes massive impact on our health, because we feel accepted, we feel loved, we feel the kind of part of community. And therefore my idea here also is to create community. They're like-minded people who look after their own house. Also, self-love, taking care of your own mental health and development. So it's important. So find a way what makes you happy. Like, find the time for you happy, whether it's walk on a beach, whether it's your knitting, whether it's singing, whether it's dancing. Why do you think old people who regularly gather together and sing or dance, they live happy and longer life? Because there is a community, they feel loved, accepted, but also it calms them down, it feels them happy. Environment we live in, I already mentioned this. And also important, which we will learn in this health school, is detoxification, right? Correct detoxification, not harm for the body. It's a gut cleansing programs, because our gut is holy place. Everything starts from there. Removal of toxins, how we do it, a friendly way. Metabolic waste removal, how do we do it? Nice way, not harsh way. That was the number one for me. And if you see of all these, makes huge impact of our health, and this is where our health comes from. And this is more than 60%. It beats everything else. So I'm going to next one. So common factors which really influence longevity. When I did the research, highest longevity, health, and best health records in the world. We also going to go through these countries, so and you see what's particularly interesting in this region for people, but also what was the common factors across all the mountain and coastal regions. Number one, mineral-rich water. Like, for example, Japan region, okay? They got coral waters, they got volcanic minerals, glaciers, or so on, different types of countries. So as next one was a heavy plant-based diet. Yes, protein, animal-based protein was there as well, but also they had quite a lot of fresh, grown, seasonal vegetable grains, beans, and so on. Okay, so that's important. Your diet is a big factor. So natural daily movements. That was one of the main things. When you live in mountainous areas or coastal areas, you notice people regularly move every day, walking, gardening, farming. Some people still do shepherding and so on. So that influences your health massively. As the one I already mentioned, particularly in Italy, tight social bonds. In Italy, one of the villages which have a over 100 years, almost every second elderly person lives over 100 years. You know what's the strongest feature? I was shocked to learn about this. They, as a little village, gather together, do together food, recipes, cooking on a town field, and then they celebrate it all together. They sing and dance, and wine is there too. So I was thinking, okay, alcohol, I didn't expect that. It was not much alcohol. Mainly it was tight social bond. If something in a neighborhood happened, then others come around and help. This is what we lost in the bigger metropolitan cities and cities. That's why we always vital with all your health as a maintenance. It's important if you have a community and some social bonds, people who understand you, people you understand them. We can support each other. We walk the same walk, the same road, the same purpose, and so on. Stress relief, naps, face practices, slow pace of life. There's the breathing techniques there as well, meditations, whatever it is for you. Whatever it works better for you. For someone, it works deep breathing techniques and meditations. For someone, it works daily naps. For some, it works face practices and praying. For some of them, works just slow pace of life, no rushing, and also moderation and eating alcohol indulgences. So it's not too much sugar, eating good quality food, but also in moderations. Okay, so this is common. Now I would like with you, I hope you can see it. Yes, you can. I hope you can see, but I'm gonna go. We're almost finishing this first lesson. But what I want you to outline, I want you again and again for you to take away from this lesson number one. Not just to start how we maintain our health. We will gonna start it next month. But from this lesson, I want you to take away that I am one who's responsible for my own health, not my GP, not my genetics, not my environment. Environment is 15%, about 20. Yes, it brings the impact. However, I, with my choices, how I live makes massive difference. Is 60%. My lifestyle. And let's go through them. These are the countries where the longest longevity of living adults in the world. First one is Okinawa, Japan. It's subtropical island, so it's a mild climate. It's never super cold. Also, there is that coral limestone filtered water rich in calcium, magnesium, alkaline, and they drink that water, they cook in that water, they use that water, all the villages, Okinawa. They really, really rich that coral, dead coral, where fish actually dies on them. There's loads of that coral, even been done a research, is very similar to bone structure, human bone structure. So that coral water actually has really, really rich in minerals, which is really our bone structures need. And then diet pattern, what they had: vegetable, soy, sweet potatoes, little meat, some dairy, and so decent, normal. So there's a plant-based protein, animal-based protein, but lots of vegetables as well. So it's a normal thing in Japan. Also, lifestyle. I want you to outline again lifestyle: gardening, walking, gentle exercise. We know very well Tai Chi, radio Tai. So, they're very slow. Take charge of a life, no rushing. Everything happens in a relaxed state. This is very, very common actually for Japanese. And also respect to society and everything around. Social, they have quite a lot of social groups. And one of the things what I want to mention, I was actually quite shocked. There's also proper research done that Japanese, I don't know if you heard about it, ikigai. That's kind of living by purpose. when people are belonging to social groups, but also they have kind of, your life has a purpose. It decreases in elderly people dementia and actually mental problems. So you are mentally stable even in old age, and you have no dementia, very small percentage, because your life is like you live with a purpose. When you ever watched any Japanese film or Japanese culture, that's one of my favorites. You always see when they do a tea, you take a time to prepare perfectly. How's that tea, that water, these leaves? When they do a sword, they melt that sword and they actually work with that sword. They prepare it so it's immaculate. And that purpose, living with purpose. My life has a purpose, and my purpose is to serve community and be useful. That actually massively improves your health records. I was actually shocked. I have a link at the end of the presentation about it, particularly this. It called Ikigai. And also, what longevity notes, they have very low heart diseases. They practically haven't got none. And many centenarians. That means people live there over 100, especially women. Nowadays, when women are stressed, when sometimes we hear from medical professionals that 40 plus menopause is normal thing, which it isn't. Okay, it will come and eventually, but that that constant worrying, it's all really impacts our health. And I outline again and again that 60-70% it's our lifestyle. Let's look at Italy, Sardinia. Okay, Ogliastra and Nuoro. That's a mountainous highlands about 600 or 1,000 meters above the sea level. They also have mineral-rich fresh spring waters, which is interesting. This is one of the points which I mentioned earlier, that people think, oh, I'm going to start healthy lifestyle. Let me do the juices, healthy diet. No, we do not start with healthy diets first. We do not start with, we look through our lifestyle. We look where we can improve what can benefit us and what we can remove. And we also start just with water. And this is number one. Not this, okay, juices, diet, protein, this, but because these diets, there's hundreds of diets. And people have this yo-yo effect this way and back all the time. And when we look at Italy, so it's a fresh spring waters, again, mineral-rich waters. So diet pattern, it's grains, legumes, whole grains, goat milk, cheese, olive oil. So it's a healthy phospholipids, some wine. So some good quality wine, it's no problem. Obviously not bottle every day. And again, lifestyle and movement. They go do shepherd, farming, daily uphill walking. So it's kind of moderate cardio, because going up the hill, but in a fresh air, fresh nature, it's very beneficial. Also, I already mentioned Italy. They have really strong family ties and really strong community support. And there's particularly that one village where people, I already mentioned, gather together, do food together. They share food, they have a laugh, they always laugh. I watched that one research program, and guys were going to that village expecting, we want to see why people live here over 100 years. And they were shocked that they drink wine. But the biggest plus was for these people, they always laugh about everything. They always take it easy, relaxed way. That massively benefits health. And usually it's longevity is higher in males and also centenarians. So people who live over 100 years. Now looking at the Greece, Icaria, again, very mountainous island, about 500-700 meters above sea level. It's not super high. It's just really nice altitude. I lived myself in the altitude. Spring with calcium and magnesium, again in the mountain areas. They have these waters with minerals. And when we look at that and we trace why these people are so healthy, why they live so well, such a good life, you start understanding that lifestyle is everything. That our lifestyle is making massive impact how we gonna end this life. and how we will live, what quality we will live. And if we got diet patterns, Mediterranean, it's a beans, greens, olive oil, goat's milk, herbal teas. So lots of actually goodies, what's growing on the land. And also daily uphill walking, gardening. So people again lots in the fresh air. Festivals, very common in Greece as well. Naps, daily naps, they got the same like in Mediterranean, the little siestas. So strong community bonds, festivals, they again together, they're doing things together. They and interesting what's here is low dementia and chronic illnesses, very rare. No chronic illnesses. Let's go to Costa Rica. Costa Rica, it's Central Europe, okay? It's Caribbeans. Again, they again, if you notice, they quite mild climates all there. Low land, it's lowland, so it's not mountainous. It's next to the sea level peninsula. Again, water sources and minerals, calcium-rich water, volcanic bedrocks. That's why when we start going to lesson 2, lesson 3, main first stop gonna be the mineral rich waters. That's why we start our life with waters and our health management. Diet pattern: tortillas, beans, squash, tropical fruit, fish. So quite a lot of, and farming and walking lifestyle. So diet's actually quite good. Not particularly one thing which works for everyone, but actually just normal healthy diet. Farming, walking, and again, Costa Rica, family oriented, plan de vida, life purpose, similar to Japanese ikigai, and exceptional longevity, especially in men, Costa Rica. Let's go to Pakistani, and then we got a couple of two, and that's it. That's a whole part of the world. And I want you to, going through this, you want to outline kind of things which stand out. Why these people are healthy? Why they live such a long and happy life without illness? High Himalayas Valley, that's a really high, 2.5 thousand meters high. This is really high. But again, they have glacier meltwaters rich in minerals, silica, magnesium, calcium. They got again this. And what's their diet patterns? They have huge amount of apricots. So everything they cook there from apricots. Apricots, whole grains, beans, vegetables, and meat some, but in moderation again. And what they do with movement: farming, steep walking, carrying loads. So that's they actually again walking. If you notice, there's no much running or marathons. There's just fresh air and walking, fresh air and movement, fresh air and movement, and socializing, extended family, spiritual traditions. So here people got this kind of meditation, so praying or family traditions. Longevity claims partly exaggerated, but low chronic disease. So they have very, very few, literally non-chronic disease. Let's go to Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador. It's Andes. It's in South of America. Highlands, again, really high, 2.5 thousand meters above the sea level. These two, Pakistani and Peru, and Andes is really high. But what's a good Zaza, between these mountains, they got glacier streams, mineral rich waters. This is number one, what they use every day. And then they diet patterns: corn, quinoa, potatoes, beans, and obviously a little bit meat. Farming, lifestyle movement, farming, herding, high daily exertion. So they move a lot. Because they're going and doing farming, that's a lot of movement, a lot of fresh air. And they also have community festivals and family networks helping each other. And what's interesting in that is no obesity, almost no diabetes cases. Very few diabetes cases historically, so none. As soon as a person goes back, people nowadays, modern people go back to junk food and stuff like that. So diet impacts massively. So they start going to these diabetes cases, or chronic disease cases. But if you look at longevity comparison, this is what we need to understand, that our lifestyle beats absolutely everything. And Georgia, Caucasus, Abkhazia, that's again Asia more, yeah. not Europe really. Okay, eastern part of Europe. Mountainous villages, again, 500 and 1,000 meters above sea level. Mountain springs. If you notice, all these countries got something common. Diet pattern, water sources and minerals, vegetables, walnuts, fermented dairy, and whole grains. Farming, manual work to into old age. So they constantly also doing farming, work with the land, walking around. Also here is very strong traditions and respect for elders, and longevity historically claim extreme longevity. There's still got discussions about it, but also lots of old people, and that's probably going to be it for today. Here I put actually study link, one proper research here at the end. If you need one, you can start a discussion. You also, every one of you are very welcome to start discussions in our community group if you want more material or more discussion or anything. For example, the Lancet study link, the adoption of Ikigai, which I mentioned for you, living with purpose. So something you love, so you got passion and mission, then something you think world needs, so your vocation, you could do it even for free, but also you do it professionally and you get reward for it. And also with that passion and profession, you are super good at it. This particular thing, that's what Japanese call ikigai, that living with a purpose, actually is scientifically proving the adoption of ikigai lower occurrences of functional disabilities in elderly people or on people, and dementia. And that's what Japanese elders do not have, because they taught that way. And that was for me actually quite amazing. So that was all actually today. Let me go back. And the last one, what I want you at the end of this first basic lesson to understand, that our health entirely depends on our choices. Entirely 60, I would say up to 80% depends on environment you live in, depends on choices you make, and depends on things you think, you do, you feel, you worry, or you're happy about, things you together with community, what kind of choices you're making. It's all together. If you can see from this research I done from different countries, this gives you good insight. These people live happy, longer lives, really long centenarians. They mean they live over 100 years just because lifestyle is like this. And that gives it actually beautiful lesson for us. So let me stop sharing. Okay, so that was our first lesson. Next lesson, we started going into acid alkaline balance, how we can do it, what can we do, how we improve acid alkaline balance. If we talked about water and rich minerals, rich water, how we can achieve them. Where do I take them from? Do I put salt? You know, lots of people. Someone puts soda, someone puts salt, someone puts different things. And also, you can definitely start discussions in a group. These all records will be in a health school folder. So lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, you'll be able to go again through yourself or give someone else you want to. So it's no problem. And that's how step by step we will get there. And I guarantee you, if you listen all these lessons within the year, which means we will have 11 lessons, you will be different. And you will know how to live at least to centenarian. I guarantee you. Because I've been through 6 years through this, and I can see massive impact in our lives from this. So yes, I'll finish, stop recording.